What's happening, Andy here? I am joined today by Sarah from Etherfax. How are you, Sarah?
I'm great, Andy. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, it is a pleasure to have you on. It's great to meet you. I haven't actually met you before. Worked with Etherfax for quite a while, and you guys had some big news. You were in our news feed the other day for a rebranding. So I thought, maybe we can um, touch base and find out a little bit more about this big move for you guys. And first, let's just give me a little background. Who's Etherfax for some of our viewers, and then if you wouldn't mind just telling us what you do for them.
Sure. Well, simply the simple answer to who's Etherfax is we're a document exchange company. That's the simple answer. I started there about 2.5 years ago. I am the director of creative and marketing. And so I do everything creative and marketing from the social site to I work with our press release company. I work internally. I even work on like the portal design. I touch all aspects of the design and marketing of our company. So when I came here a couple of years ago, we talked about how we're kind of on this journey to reinvent ourselves. So we're more than just a document delivery network. So we did come to the realization early on that we needed a new brand and a new identity. So we had to solve the problem. How do we do this? How do we communicate our new brand and identity with a single, simple, unified voice?
Well, you guys, I mean, when you started really as like a fax software company, right? And that's taken off, and you've established yourself as one of the, especially in our channel, you're just really seem to be moving into this area quite a bit. I see your people, Jen, and I see Paul at a lot of these peer group meetings, which back I in the past really didn't see you guys at any of these things. So all of a sudden you're showing up at all these places. I see you at dealer events. Um, it was a fax software. You call it a communication. What was it? Communication software? Is that how you
Document delivery
platform?
network. Yeah,
Network. Because
network.
that's
Yeah,
what it is. It's outgrown
yeah,
that, right? I mean,
yeah.
there really aren't fax machines anymore. Those are kind of gone. They're still
Right.
around, but they're being phased out. We had some FCC news last year, I guess, where um, the support for those lines that a lot of the traditional old school fax machines used is going away. Different communities don't may not have them anymore. So, the software really became more critical than ever. And let's talk about it a little bit. Your software. There's a lot of ways to send things, right? And then we will get into the new branding. But what is it about your type of technology that makes it just so favorable when people think of security? I mean, it's an old technology, a lot of it, but it's still, it's my understanding, it's still, really secure, much better than sending things through email and just other ways that have come since then. So can you just give us a little bit of background on the security level and why people are still using this technology?
So, I mean, I guess it does focus a lot on healthcare, I would say.
Yeah.
In healthcare, obviously, there's HIPAA laws and it's very strict. You cannot share anything. Um, Faxing is the go-to because it's the common ground that everybody has, doctors, hospitals, and even, patients. Fax is really the only safe way, secure way to send things. So that's how come it keeps coming up
It
over and
just
over.
can't get popped. It's encrypted, right? And there's no, I mean, it's an end-to-end um direct communication, and it's just safer. And it's funny we do call it fax because it's not fax anymore. I mean, fax was, you had two machines back in the
Yeah,
day, and one
right.
machine had the paper go in and the other machine had the paper come out. And now it's all instant. It's all it's all I mean, for you guys, encrypted in this world, and it's not the same. It's not the same animal. So because of that, and because things have changed so much, you came on board a couple years ago, and now you've been instrumental in this rebranding. So I love the new logos. Um,
Thank you.
the old logo was fine, but it was old. It was it was just your name, and it was nice, but it was this is colorful and looks like you've already got some swag. You've got the
Yeah.
shirt. You clearly are
Good
all in
morning.
because you painted it on your wall back there behind you. Um,
Yeah.
I love it. Tell me about the process. How did you guys, because this isn't just like, hey, let's just design something. It looks like you put some thought into this and
Oh
and
yeah.
let's
Yeah.
talk about it.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. So basically what we did, the correct way to do this is to actually conduct a brand audit. And that's basically evaluating our brand's position in the marketplace. What are our strengths? What are our weaknesses? How are we perceived by ourselves, and how do other people externally perceive us, our company? Um, so basically you start off just doing a lot of interviews. I interviewed the founders of Etherfax. I interviewed a lot of the employees. I interviewed customers and partners. And then we also put together some customer surveys that people could answer anonymously. So you get a little bit more honest feedback that way as well. Like,
Oh yeah.
we were, wanted to get information about everything. Like, what does Etherfax mean to you? What are we doing right? What do you wish we'd put more focus on? Would you recommend us? Are we meeting your needs? Just the whole gamut. We just really wanted to get like a lay of the land, basically, of how we're perceived. So,
How,
it
how
took,
long, do you mind, how long did that
it
process take? Like that's,
was, it was months, months and months, to just set up meetings and one-on-one interviews, and then compile. Doing the interviews and the surveys was months and months. And then also after I got all the information together, it was really just a long time to compile everything, write down all everyone's answers, kind of put them together, see what was the similar ones, which ones kept popping up over and over again, the common threads. So it was quite a journey, but one that you have to do if you want to do the rebrand properly, and you want to make sure that it's something that's gonna you can leverage, and it's going to last you for many, many futures of iterations of your company. You really have to do it this way and just make sure you have all your bases covered. So that is basically how I came up with the new brand platform. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with what a brand platform is, because I know
why
it
don't you
might be
go
a
into it? Tell us. I'm a copier guy. I don't know much about marketing. Fill me in.
right. So basically, it's just a document, and
Yeah.
it outlines who we are, our brand identity, and it's for internal and external use. So it just keeps everyone on track. So we're all saying the same thing. So we all know what our positioning is, and we're all saying it, supporting the same brand vision, mission, and positioning of our company, externally. Um, and I can't express enough the importance of consistency with brand
Hmm.
messaging. Um, Consistency equals trust. There's no way around that. Just if you're going to a company and they're saying something about, security this way, and then the next time they're saying something else about, security in different words, even, it's just you lose a little bit of trust. You have to be consistent. This is what we do. This is how we're going to help you. And the more consistent you are with that messaging with your potential customers, current customers, and partners, the more they're going to trust you. And that's really what the crux. That's why someone's going to choose you over another company, is because they trust you.
Well, it looks like you grew into this. I mean, you were a smaller company when I started working with you, and over the years I've watched the growth, right? And you've got big company problems, right? When you start looking at, look, our branding, we want a consistent message. We don't just want to be thought of as some fax company. The future is here, and we've seen other companies. There's another company that's in sort of in your space, and when they rebranded, they changed their name, honestly, and it was an somewhat iconic name. We don't need to get into what the name was. I can't remember what it is now. Which is the problem, right? And so I'm really glad to see you guys stayed with your heritage and you may change the name someday, but right now, like people know you as this name and why undo something that you've spent 10, 20 years, 30 years, some cases, building this company. Kodak doesn't necessarily make cameras anymore, but people still know who Kodak is, and it's a print company, right? And it's a scanning company with Alaris, and it happens in every industry. So, did you give any thought to changing the name at all, or did you just say this is who we are? And I love the that circle behind you. It took me a minute to realize that was an E and an F.
Oh, wow. You're giving away my
I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of
my
it, but that
talking
is
points for later.
it was really cool. It just like jumped out at me all of a sudden. I'm like, oh, that's an E and an F. But like,
Yeah.
what was the thought behind like, moving this into such a futuristic looking logo and new, new colors and all that, and versus, but also keeping some of the heritage, the legacy, the name, that people still recognize.
Right. And you know what? It's interesting that you say that because we did actually kind of go back and forth a little bit, like because fax is just such
Yeah,
old name.
it's
Like
antiquated, right?
it's
But
antiquated.
it's part of your
You know,
name. People may not think of.
people they don't even know. Some kids don't even know what fax is,
Yeah,
you
so
know.
now it's just part of your name, and now it's like, well, I didn't even know that that was part of. I didn't know what that, I didn't know what that meant. That
I
I
know
know that
exactly.
meant that. You know it
Right.
meant that.
Right. But so we did go back and forth a little bit, but like you said, it is an established brand. We've been around since 2009. So we came to the conclusion, we're like, you know what? No, this is who we are. This is our identity. Let's go with it and let's
Yeah,
just, bring it into the future now. So that was definitely a concern, the name.
it is funny you say that about younger generations because this next, Z generation, like these guys who didn't grow up with hardware, with fax hardware. To your point, like that's just your name, It's like Slawetsky. It's just a name. It doesn't, right? I mean, it's Etherfax. We don't know why it's called that. Well, I mean, there's kind of an interesting history behind it that you and I know. But as we do move forward, I do think that that word will be less and less important. You probably go and change your name next month now that we had this
No,
conversation.
no,
But I like it.
no, we're
I think
not.
it's.
Nope.
I, I'm never, unless there's some really bad reason that you need to change your name or you're getting sued or, there's some conflict. I really like when you've been around 10 years like you guys plus 15 years almost, people know who you are. You don't want to have to call up and people answer the phone when Paul, when Jennifer call and
Yeah,
Ben and your team and they know who you are and all of a sudden it could be somebody else. Jennifer from the ABC company doesn't get answered all the time. People don't know that company. So
yeah,
um
yeah,
I think that's interesting that you guys kept to that. Uh,
yeah.
so
It
the
is
vision
different
statement,
too.
mission statement, how did
Oh,
you
sure.
go into that? Because that was another process, right?
Yeah, so I mean that is really like the crux of the new brand are these statements. And every brand is going to have that behind the scenes and you may not even hear about it or know about it, but it's there and it's really the basis for, all your messaging and your branding again to be to everyone to have that consistent way to communicate about your company. So we did come up with our vision statement, which is for those of you that don't know, it's basically what is the impact you want your brand to have on the world? It's an aspirational statement, and ours is really clean and concise. It's innovating the interoperable exchange of data. That is our new vision statement, and I think it's perfect. It's concise, it's clear, it's to the point. I mean, that is where we were in 2009 and that's where we are now. We're still innovating this, interoperable exchange of your data. That's who we are and will always be that. So um our mission statement, and that's just basically one sentence, what we do, how we do it, who do we do it for. Our new mission statement is creating leading edge solutions to securely exchange, extract, and integrate data between systems and applications, allowing organizations to enhance productivity while increasing value and sustainability. So that is basically our one sentence, what we do, and which each of these statements we're just getting a little deeper and deeper about who Etherfax is and what we're here to accomplish basically. And then that brings us to our brand positioning statement, which is basically like our little elevator pitch. So what do we have? What do we have what do we do really good? And what do we do that nobody else does? Etherfax is a reliable, intelligent software-defined network that enables the exchange of data between a multitude of endpoints while maintaining the highest level of security. Our patented technology and suite of applications can easily be programmed to integrate with your existing systems. Etherfax's cloud-based solutions and AI-powered data extraction technology empower organizations to save time, money, and resources by eliminating manual data entry and digital workflows. So So basically, that's what it all culminates down to. Those months and months of interviews and surveys. And, this is our targeted focus message on where we are and what we want to do for you, how we can help you. And, that's who Etherfax is.
It's awesome. It's awesome. You definitely put in a lot of work. And then we noticed your website's refreshed as well. So this is
Yeah.
probably a never ending nightmare for you in a lot of ways
No.
because it starts with these simple surveys and this nice little, good intention idea of let's look into a new rebrand. But now it's how you keep digging and digging. There's more and more to keep doing. So now
Oh,
you
yeah.
got the brand, you got the mission statement, you've got all these other pieces, and you need to update the website. So how did that go?
That was a labor of love too. I mean, this
I
all
bet.
was. So we decided for the website, we needed to do it from the ground up.
Yeah.
So basically, we didn't update what we had. We basically started fresh. We created an
Sometimes
entirely,
that's the way to do it.
yeah, it really was. So it just and we wanted it to fit with our mission and vision statements. So as I'm sure you visited the website, you can see that now it has a very sleek, modern design. It's focused on clean lines, uncluttered, lots of white space, very light and airy with engaging graphics.
Yep.
We also updated the menu. So
Yeah,
we
there's new
wanted,
stuff on there. AI
yeah,
and
yeah, I mean, we wanted to, and it's funny because a lot of that stuff was already on our old website, but I think that our menu wasn't maybe as navigatable or
hmm.
easily intuitive for you to find what you were looking for. Now, if you're looking for, oh, I heard they have an integration with Highland, you can easily go up to our menu and you see it's very clear. You can find it in multiple different places. You can be looking at it under solutions, you can be looking at it by feature. In either way, there's many different paths to get to that Highland integration page. So
Well, it's
we
it's funny because, and you mentioned this before, with a fresh build, but when you're slapping new pieces on every time, they tend to get kind of put on at the end or in, remote areas of the site because everything else is already kind of allocated. And,
right, right,
you keep adding and adding and adding, and it gets bigger and bigger, but it gets harder and harder to find because, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, this wasn't something you even thought about, right? So now to have the opportunity to kind of step back and say, look, now we can reprioritize everything. We can put things where, they're easier to find.
right,
Like that Highland stuff, you know, several years ago might not have been a big deal, but now it is a big deal. And, and your message on security, and probably some case studies and other content you have around that, super topical right now,
yeah,
especially as everybody is really trying to button up and try not to be that next one in the news cycle about how they got a ransomware attack. And
right,
not that this will prevent it, but in some ways maybe it will, right? This is super super secure technology and when things are critical and you have messaging that needs to go back. But there's a reason that healthcare uses this, right? There's a reason that government at a certain level uses this type of encryption and there's a
right,
reason you guys get audited once every however many years. I did an interview with Paul a couple months ago where he talked about the audit process you guys just went through to make sure that you're meeting your security obligations. It's not like you're just saying, hey, we're secure and it's facts. This is we calling out to a third party company to come in and try to break your system basically
right,
and
right.
find out where, what needs to be fixed. And so not a lot of companies do that. And so, and in the midst of all that, here's Sarah trying to rebrand the company, right? So you guys have had a really busy year so far.
We have, yeah, we actually have. And it's funny you say that about the content because we did try to put that more front and center too. On our homepage, we highlighted definitely our commitment to security. It's very, the top of the page. Those are our certifications that you mentioned, and you're right. They're a long process, and we commit to them every time they need to be renewed. And it's a big commitment, but we do
Oh,
it.
I bet
And
it is. It doesn't sound
yeah,
fun at all. It sounds
yeah,
horrible. It sounds really
right.
painful,
Well,
honestly.
not so much for me, but definitely for a lot of other people, it
I
might
bet
come
it is for certain people in
go
that
through the
company. I bet it's a
process.
nightmare, but they do it they do it over and over again. It wasn't the first
Yeah.
time I've talked to them about it. I think they had one a couple years ago as well. So I guess it's a regular thing you guys do, and that's but
Mhm.
that's one of the things that keeps you and has pushed you into sort of the forefront in our world with the office equipment resellers. So As we wrap up, I do want to find out, are you guys going to be at any shows? I know you do a lot of CDA stuff. Are you going to be at any BTA shows coming up? Anything like that?
So the next show I think we're going to be at is D Hits, which we're really excited because we're going to reveal our new brand there. We have a
Mm.
like a new pop-up booth. We have some new swag, so we're really excited about that. That's in Dallas, Texas on August 20th.
Ooh, hot.
Um, yeah.
Hot.
I think we're gonna be at the Gateway to Success show. It's a BTA
Yep.
organization event, and
Yeah, I'll be
that's
speaking at that, so I'll see you guys
oh,
there. Awesome.
awesome. Antonio, Texas, another hot spot. And then we also do the Copy Dealer Association events. I'm not sure when the next one is, but just be on the lookout.
Yeah, they're
We'll
like every 3 to 6 months they have something, and then sometimes they'll also do I think they call it MTA. They've got a subgroup that deals with managed services, and then sometimes they'll do the I guess the owner meetings, if you want to call it owner, I guess they call it owner meetings. Some of them are CFO meetings. So they do a bunch of different ones through the year. The peer groups that we have in this industry are really cool. They have, and that's not the only one. There's several. There's American Co-op and SDG, but you locked onto a really good one. That CDA is an excellent group. I've spoken in front of them a few times. And they tend to do them at nice places. So hopefully you guys are going to get to go somewhere cool or
Oh, it
fun
was
at
at
least.
the tropical place last year, right? I
Was
think it was
it? Okay.
tropical. I think it was somewhere tropical. Yeah, I didn't
They
go,
they
so
tend to do well, you've got to get up there. They usually have one or two people present. And so I saw you guys last year at I want to say, was it Kansas City or something like that? It might have been. Um I forget where it was. It was somewhere in the Midwest, and you guys were there. I saw Jen and Paul at that one. So yeah, great event. And so you're busy. You're busy. So this was
we are
great though.
busy.
I appreciate you coming on. Before we wrap up, I know we had a whole bunch more we could have talked about, but is there anything you want to kind of finish up with, or any shout outs, anything like that?
I just want to encourage everyone to check out the new website and, hey, give me feedback. I'd love it. Yeah, we had a lot of people working on this from internally, our dev, our IT department, everybody helped just to get this launch happening, as well as, some outside people. It's all mentioned in my blog and my LinkedIn me. I'd love to connect with you. So,
Well,
but
for
yeah,
marketing
definitely.
people, we'll definitely put some contact information in there if you guys want to talk to Sarah about, the process and what she went through. Obviously, we will put the link in for the website, which looks fantastic. It was it was ready. It was ready for an update, and I think you did some homework. I love the new logo, and I have to tell you, I usually hate everything. I'm a curmudgeon. My wife will tell you I'm a man that's much older than his years. I hate everything. And I don't like change. So, when I hear a new brand, I'm
Most
like,
people
"Rah," I
don't.
usually don't like it. But I love that one. I love the reddish. It looks red on my screen. It's like an orangish. What is it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a reddish orange. I'd go with that.
I
Yeah.
love it with the EF. It took me a while to realize that just looked like a cool circle. Um, yeah, you guys did a great job.
Yeah,
Great
it's an
job.
X, it's an X and it's an EF. So there
Yep,
you go.
it's awesome.
Many
I'll
things.
be looking for my shirt.
Oh, definitely. We'll send you something, Andy, for sure.
All right, Sarah. Well, great meeting you, and thank you so much for taking the time to go over this with us. You did a great job. Home run. We love it, and hopefully you'll get some calls from some of your peers, and you guys can chat about marketing. But I think you guys did awesome. Thank you so much for sharing
Thanks
that
so
with
much,
us.
Andy. I really appreciate the props. I appreciate it. And thanks for having me. This was really fun.
My pleasure. Thank you. Bye bye.
All right, great. Bye.